This is Blastoise. Blastoise isn't the strongest Pokemon, and he's currently languishing all the way down in the rarely used tier in competitive singles. Being stuck in RUBL is not where you want to be as a Pokemon. However, hey, we're here to play Draft. Understanding your Pokemon's roles and flexibility can make or break your matchups, and we'll be focusing on an example roster that I had with Blastoise. Blastoise is one of the biggest facilitators for this team's success and was a prime example of role compression in one of the recent Pokemon draft seasons that I participated in. Here's a quick look at my team. I've got strong, bulky offensive Mons in Raging Bolt and Ursaluna, but they're a bit slow, so I've paired it with one of the most flexible Mons in the format, which is Meowscarada. Now, you're always going to need some defensive pieces, so I've got both Uxie and Tinkaton, which make a nice backbone for my bulky boys. There's obviously some other Pokemon here that are filling out minor roles on the team. You got to draft Pokemon somewhere. But my big man Blastoise, hey, he keeps it all together when I get inside Showdown's team builder. Role compression is a term in draft, which refers to a Pokemon's ability to do different jobs depending on what a matchup might need. There are examples of this, such as being a defensive wall, a potential hazard remover, or even your offensive linchpin to win any game. A Pokemon that can compress roles is invaluable, especially in a draft league. Resources are limited and you only have so many Pokemon on your roster, so every team slot is going to matter. Blastoise is a perfect example of role compression. He can fill multiple roles on any team, whether it's with his respectable bulk and moves like Rapid Spin, Yawn, or Roar, or with a little bit of investment in damage and a shell smashing set. Blastoise can always find a way to come into different matchups and have an impact. Do you need hazard control? Blastoise is your guy. Facing a strong physical threat? Blastoise is your guy. Blastoise's defensive stats and typing allows it to really easily pivot into strong attacks or potentially find his own way into a more offensive-oriented team. One week, Blastoise might be brought as a hazard remover against teams that are reliant on stacking spikes or stealth rocks versus you. But another week, I could just tailor my Blastoise to wall strong threats like a Chi-Yu, or something like a Greninja with an Assault Vest on Blastoise. The ability for you as a player to adapt is crucial for staying unpredictable, and you need to cover gaps in your team. An added bonus of using a Pokemon like Blastoise is that while your opponent has a general understanding of what Blastoise could do, they're never going to know for sure until you start clicking your buttons. When a Blastoise gets sent in, it could be a myriad of different sets, moves, or EVs depending on what the player has decided Blastoise's role is for that week. Let's break down some of Blastoise's potential roles that he could fill when you're prepping for a match, and some of those he did for me in my FBL season. Some weeks I had him just as a dedicated hazard remover. Sometimes I really needed him to be a defensive pivot and answer physical or special threats, which he could do both. Or, on the rare occasion, I had some offensive sets, Choice Specs, Shell Smash, and maybe even a cheeky Choice Band, though that one might not be as recommended. Blastoise proves that you don't need to be a top-tier Mon to be invaluable to a team's success. Sure, this team had major threats like Raging Bolt and Meowscarada, and sure, Ursaluna could click Guts-boosted Facade, but if you don't have tools to support those win cons, you're not going to take away too many games in any draft season. So, with proper prep and role compression, you can turn any solid pick into an indispensable team cornerstone. And I don't mean Ogerpon, but thanks for watching. Hey, if you're interested in Pokemon drafts, be sure to subscribe, and as well as try to check out our league, the King's Court. It's a server that we dedicated to giving new players a positive first experience trying out draft leagues.